He was already dead. At least, that's what the killers believed. His body lay on the cold steel floor of docking bay 12, twitching slightly as the poison burned through his veins. The freighter engines roared as the smugglers fled the station, leaving him behind like trash. But they made one mistake. They did not look up. Because something else had arrived. Cale Arden had survived wars, riots, and the slow collapse of 3 outer colonies. But he had never felt anything like this. The toxin felt alive. It crawled inside him, shutting down his muscles one by one. His fingers stopped moving first. Then his legs. Then his lungs struggled to remember how breathing worked. He tried to laugh. Of course it would end like this. Not in battle. Not saving anyone. Just poisoned over paperwork. The station lights flickered above him. The emergency system should have activated. It didn't. They had disabled it. His vision blurred. The world tilted. Then the air changed. There was a sound behind him. Soft, organic. Not mechanical. Not human. A new ship had docked. The hatch opened slowly, not with metal grinding, but with something smoother. Almost like it grew open. Footsteps approached. Light footsteps. Someone knelt beside him. He forced one eye open. She was not human. Her skin was pale but glowing faintly, like moonlight underwater. Her eyes were deep violet, too large, too aware. Her hair flowed around her shoulders like liquid shadow. And when she leaned closer, he saw the delicate curve of sharp fangs behind her lips. "Your blood is burning," she whispered. Her voice felt cool against his skin. Cale tried to speak, but only a weak breath escaped. She touched his chest. Her hand trembled. "This poison will stop your heart in less than 60 seconds. He would have smiled if he could. "Bad day," he whispered. Something changed in her expression. She leaned closer. "I am not allowed to interfere," she said softly. "My people do not save yours." Cale blinked slowly. Then, "Don't." Her eyes sharpened. Humans. Even dying, they resisted. She could feel it in his pulse. Defiance. The toxin had already entered his nervous system. It was advanced. Designed for biological warfare. Efficient. Merciless. She made a decision. One that would cost her everything. "I will need direct transfer," she said. Cale didn't understand. Then she pressed her lips against his. The world exploded. Cold fire surged into his bloodstream. The poison screamed. He could feel it fighting. But something older and stronger was entering him. Something alien. Her fangs pierced his lower lip. Not to feed. To inject. Her species were called the Vilari, feared across systems as star vampires. But they were not monsters. They were survivors of a world poisoned by radiation and toxins. Their bodies evolved to neutralize deadly compounds. Her blood was medicine. Cale's heart stopped. Then started again. Harder. Stronger. He gasped violently, air slamming into his lungs like a shockwave. His body arched upward as energy burned through him. She pulled back sharply, breathing fast. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the poison inside him began to dissolve. Cale rolled onto his side, coughing violently. He was alive. And he felt different. His senses sharpened. He could hear the station's distant engines humming 3 decks below. He could smell metal, oil, and something sweet from her skin. He looked up at her. "You kissed me," he managed. Her cheeks faintly glowed brighter. It was medical. He laughed weakly. "Sure." She stepped back quickly, her expression guarded. "The toxin is not fully gone. It is bound to your cells. My enzymes will fight it, but you will need more." Cale forced himself to sit up. More kissing. Her eyes narrowed. "More of me." That made him pause. Before he could ask anything else, the station trembled. An alarm finally triggered. Unauthorized launch detected. The smugglers were escaping. Cale pushed himself to his feet, and nearly collapsed again. She caught him instantly. You are not stable. They're carrying more of that poison, he said. If it reaches the colonies, it will simulate a plague, she finished. Yes. I know. He stared at her. You were tracking them. She nodded once. For weeks. My people observed. We were not to interfere. And now. Her gaze met his. Now I have already broken the law. Cale felt the strange new strength inside him building. Weak, but growing. He grabbed a nearby console and pulled up the station tracking grid. The freighter was powering toward the jump gate. If they reach the outer settlements, he said, thousands die. Panic spreads. Military steps in. Colonies lose independence. She watched him carefully. You understand quickly. Humans learn fast when survival is involved. He looked at her ship through the viewport. Organic. Sleek. Silent. You can catch them. Yes. Then let's go. She hesitated. You may die. He smirked. I was dead 5 minutes ago. For the first time, she almost smiled. Humans were reckless. But not stupid. She extended her hand. Then we hunt. Cale took it. And as they ran toward her ship, the stars outside seemed to shift, as if something much larger had just taken notice. Because somewhere in deep space, Vilari High Command detected her illegal enzyme transfer. And they were not pleased. But humanity had just gained something the galaxy did not expect. A dying man who refused to stay dead. And an alien who chose compassion over obedience. The hunt had begun. The alien ship did not roar to life. It unfolded. That was the only way Cale could describe it. The smooth surface rippled like water as the craft detached from the station. No engines burned. No flames ignited. It simply bent space slightly and moved. Cale gripped the edge of the organic console, trying not to fall as the stars stretched into thin lines. You fly by folding gravity, he asked. Yes, she replied calmly. Your species still burns fuel. He grinned. We also invented sarcasm and duct tape. Don't underestimate us. Her violet eyes flickered toward him. I'm beginning to understand that. Ahead of them, the smuggler freighter accelerated toward the jump gate. It was crude. Loud. Fast in a straight line. But not graceful. They will reach the gate in 3 minutes, she said. If they jump, we lose them. Cale scanned the control surface in front of him. Symbols shifted as if alive. You can disable them remotely. No. Their shielding blocks interference. He nodded slowly. Then we don't disable them. She looked at him. We scare them. Before she could ask what he meant, Cale started tapping at a floating holographic map. His hands moved faster than they had any right to after nearly dying. What are you doing? She asked. Human traffic control trick. He accessed the old station's emergency broadcast system. Most of it was disabled, but not all. He rerouted power from abandoned decks. Overloaded secondary relays. Forced a narrowband transmission straight into the freighter's cockpit. A loud, distorted voice echoed across space. Unidentified freighter, you are carrying illegal biological weapons. You are surrounded. Cut engines immediately or be fired upon. Silence. The smuggler ship wobbled slightly. Her eyebrows lifted. You are not surrounded. No, Cale said calmly. But fear is faster than truth. Inside the freighter, panic spread. Cale hacked deeper, pulling up archived military codes from old Alliance patrols. He layered false radar ghosts around the smuggler sensors. 3 phantom cruisers appeared on their display. The freighter slowed. Impossible, she whispered. Humans lie very creatively, Cale replied. The smugglers hesitated just long enough. Her ship surged forward. In seconds, they were beside the freighter. Now the alien vessel changed shape again. Panels extending like wings, energy fields forming around its surface. What are you doing? Cale asked. Boarding. The Vilari did not use airlocks. A section of her hull liquefied and extended toward the freighter's metal surface, merging into it like water sinking into sand. Cale felt the shift as the two ships connected. You're tearing through their hull. They will survive vacuum for 17 seconds. Comforting. The interior of the freighter was chaos. 3 smugglers reached for weapons when Cale and the Vilari stepped inside. The men froze. Because she did not look gentle anymore. Her eyes glowed brighter. Her fangs were fully visible now. A faint crimson light pulsed under her skin. One smuggler fired. Cale reacted first. He grabbed a loose cargo crate and shoved it into the line of fire. The plasma bolt slammed into it, exploding in sparks. Non-lethal, he shouted to her. She moved like a shadow. In less than 3 heartbeats, all 3 smugglers were disarmed and pinned against the wall, lifted by invisible force. Telekinetic pressure. Cale blinked. You could have done that earlier. I prefer minimal force. He tied the men quickly with cargo straps. Human solution, he muttered. She stepped toward crate 17, the one that had poisoned him. Her hand hovered over it. Inside were hundreds of small vials. Each one could kill a colony. She closed her eyes briefly. This toxin is engineered. Not human origin. Cale frowned. Meaning? Someone provided your species this formula. That changed everything. He stared at the smugglers. Who hired you? He demanded. Silence. The pressure on them increased slightly. One man gasped. Corporate contract. We don't know more. Which corporation? Heliox Dominion. Cale's stomach tightened. Heliox was massive. Political. Powerful. If they were behind this, it wasn't about money. It was about control. He looked at her. This is bigger than plague. She nodded. And my people suspected as much. Suddenly, her expression shifted. Her body stiffened. What is it? Cale asked. My signal has been traced. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. By who? Vilari High Command. Cale exhaled slowly. And I'm guessing they don't approve of interspecies medical kissing. No. Outside the viewport, space shimmered. 3 enormous organic ships phased into existence. Not small like hers. Massive. Ancient. Powerful. Cale swallowed. Friends of yours. They are here to arrest me. The smugglers stared in horror at the new arrivals. The Vilari vessels radiated quiet dominance. A voice echoed inside Cale's mind, not heard, but felt. You have violated directive silence. Step away from the human. Her jaw tightened. I will not. The pressure in the air intensified. Cale stepped forward instinctively. Bad idea. Very bad idea. But human. She saved my life, he said aloud, knowing they could hear. You want to arrest someone for stopping a mass murder. The alien presence pressed harder. You are not relevant. Cale smiled slightly. Humans are always relevant. You just don't notice until it's too late. He stepped toward the console of the smuggler ship. His fingers flew again. If ancient aliens wanted a standoff, fine. He rerouted the freighter's engines into overload mode. Energy levels spiked dangerously. Her eyes widened. What are you doing? Giving them a reason to listen. The massive Vilari ships detected the overload instantly. If the freighter exploded near the jump gate, it would destabilize the entire sector corridor. Thousands of ships depended on that route. Cale opened a channel. You arrest her. I overload this ship. You save face by calling this a joint containment operation. Your choice. Silence. Even she stared at him in shock. You would destroy yourself. He looked at her. You said I might die anyway. The massive ships hesitated. Humans were not predictable. That was dangerous. Finally, the pressure eased. The mental voice returned. The human is unstable. Kale grinned. Correct. After a long pause. Joint containment authorized. The Vilari will assist in neutralizing the toxin network. The giant ships slowly backed away. Not defeated, but reconsidering. She looked at Kale with something new in her eyes. Respect. You risked everything. He shrugged. Humans don't fold when bullies show up. Even ancient glowing space vampires. For the first time, she laughed softly. The smugglers were secured. The toxin shipment captured. But this was only the surface. Because Heliox Dominion would not stay quiet. And now, 2 species were officially involved. Kale leaned back against the wall. So, he said, breathing hard, what's step 2? She looked at the stars. We expose them. And for the first time in decades, the galaxy began to understand something dangerous. Humans were fragile. Humans were emotional. Humans were reckless. But humans, when cornered, became unstoppable. Heliox Dominion did not panic. Corporations that controlled half the frontier did not panic. They calculated. Within hours of the freighter's capture, encrypted signals moved across sectors. Lawyers prepared statements. Private security fleets mobilized. Political allies were contacted. They would bury this. They always buried things. But they had never faced a human like Kale Arden. And they had never faced a Vilari who chose defiance. The smuggler crew was transferred to a secure holding cell aboard one of the Vilari command ships. The toxin crates were sealed inside containment fields. Kale stood in the observation chamber, staring at the massive organic walls that pulsed softly with living light. You could destroy Heliox quietly, he said. You're powerful enough. Yes, she replied. But you won't. No. He nodded. That's the difference between power and influence. She studied him carefully. Explain. If you crush them with force, humans fear you. If humans fear you, they unite against you. But if humans see the truth themselves, they unite against Heliox. Her eyes narrowed slightly. You weaponize transparency. He smiled. We weaponize stubbornness. The plan was simple. Which meant it was dangerous. Heliox Dominion was preparing to ship more toxin under different routes. Their internal network was secure, but not secure against creativity. Kale sat at a Vilari interface that reshaped itself under his fingers. You're letting me access alien tech, he asked. You already threatened to explode a jump corridor, she replied. Trust seems appropriate. He laughed softly. Humans did not outmatch ancient alien civilizations in raw power. They outmatched them in adaptability. Kale connected to civilian communication relays. Instead of hacking Heliox directly, he targeted their public humanitarian channels, the ones they used to promote vaccine donations and medical relief. He injected a simple code. Not destructive. Revealing. Every advertisement Heliox released now carried a hidden embedded data packet. When opened by public networks, it automatically cross-referenced cargo manifests from captured freighters. Numbers didn't lie. Shipment IDs matched toxin crates. Medical supply logos matched biological weapon signatures. Within hours, colonial networks began asking questions. Within 6 hours, independent journalists amplified it. Within 12 hours, Heliox's stock plummeted. And then Kale did something even bolder. He broadcasted everything. Live. Across open frontier channels. He stood beside the glowing Vilari officer, smugglers restrained behind them, toxin samples displayed clearly. No dramatic music, he muttered. Truth is loud enough. He stepped forward. My name is Kale Arden. I was poisoned by Heliox Dominion. This woman saved my life. He did not hide her nature. He did not hide her fangs. If not for her, thousands would die from a fake plague designed to justify military occupation. The recording of the smuggler's confession played. Then shipment data. Then internal Heliox contracts referencing phase collapse event. The galaxy watched. Colonies that once depended on Heliox began shutting down their landing rights. Frontier militias seized Heliox storage depots. Employees leaked more documents. Humans did what humans did best. They turned outrage into action. Heliox responded with force. A private security fleet dropped out of warp near the Vilari ships. Missile arrays locked on. Corporate insignia burned bright against black hulls. This is Heliox Dominion. Stand down and release our property. Kale rolled his shoulders. Property. The Vilari commander beside him radiated calm anger. They believe sentient life is property. Kale stepped forward again. You fire on us, he transmitted openly, and every system in this sector sees it live. He wasn't bluffing. He had tied every sensor feed into civilian streams. Millions were watching. Heliox hesitated. They could win a battle, but not a reputation war. Human outrage was more dangerous than any fleet. Seconds stretched. Then one Heliox cruiser fired. Not at them. At the captured freighter debris nearby. Trying to destroy evidence. Kale reacted instantly. He rerouted Vilari's shielding to deflect the explosion outward, minimizing collateral damage. The blast lit up space like a second sun. But it also sealed Heliox's fate. Because millions saw it. Saw the desperation. Saw the guilt. And that was the moment everything shifted. Heliox ships withdrew. Not defeated. But exposed. And in the days that followed, human systems voted unanimously to strip Heliox Dominion of frontier authority. Military contracts were suspended. Executives arrested. Assets frozen. Not because aliens forced it, but because humans decided enough was enough. Later, in the quiet of orbit above a recovering colony, Kale stood beside her again. You changed your people's law, he said softly. Yes. The Vilari High Command had revised directive silence. Limited cooperation with humanity was now permitted. Not because humans were weak, but because they were unpredictable allies. You saved me, he continued. And you saved thousands, she replied. He looked at her carefully. Am I still dying? She stepped closer. The glow beneath her skin was calmer now. The toxin is gone. Your body adapted. He blinked. Adapted. Your species integrates foreign enzymes rapidly. You are biologically stubborn. He laughed. That tracks. There was silence between them, but not awkward. Just thoughtful. What happens now? He asked. She looked toward the stars. Heliox was one branch. There will be others. Good, Kale said. She raised an eyebrow. Good. He grinned. Means we're not done. She studied him. You would continue this. Someone has to keep surprising the galaxy. For the first time, she did not hide her smile. Far beyond them, other species observed the events carefully. They updated their records. Humanity, fragile. Humanity, emotional. Humanity, chaotic. But now they added something new. Humanity, defiant. Humanity, adaptive. Humanity, dangerous when underestimated. And somewhere deep in space, other conspiracies quietly recalculated their plans. Because a new variable existed. A human who refused to die. An alien who chose compassion. And a partnership that proved something powerful. The galaxy might have older civilizations. Stronger civilizations. More advanced civilizations. But none were as creatively relentless as humanity when given a reason to fight. And this was only the beginning.